Ditch Windows spyware. Install Linux today. Recall's coming for you. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. That smokiness, so good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking space, SpaceX, Linux, and just a ton of tech. I'm glad you're here. Once again, we're going to be talking about Linux today and I guess the not using of Windows and why. What is going on? Well, as of today or a couple of days ago, Microsoft finally went live with Recall. And Recall, I did an entire piece on months ago, and I talked about how just invasive Recall is, how it literally will take a snapshot of your screen every 2 seconds. That snapshot then gets boiled down on your PC using your CPU, and then that data is sent off. Now, supposedly all the data that it gets locally is going to stay local. And there's been some changes from when it was beta to now it's officially released, and there's some protections installed. But do you feel safe with Microsoft or do you not? I personally don't. And that is why I ended up moving away from Microsoft altogether. And this was quite some time ago now. It's about 9 months or so. This is my Windows right here. It has not moved from here for the last, let's say, 9 months or so. And I haven't known the difference. Everything that I do is on Linux. And I'll get into which Linux distribution I'm using and why before the end of this video. But I was reading an article over on PC Magazine, which I thought was very interesting. And it talks a lot about what is going on with the Recall and how now it's being installed and slowly, let's say, installed or implemented across the entire Copilot Plus ecosystem, let's call it, of PCs. These PCs that have an NPU built into them. Anyways, I want to get into this article and then I want to give you, of course, my commentary, but most importantly, I want to hear from you. What do you think about all this? Are you thinking about breaking free of Microsoft Windows and going to maybe Mac OS or possibly even better, Linux, like I did, or not? And why not? I would love to hear from you down below. And to me, I think it is very important during a day and age of AI, when computers can now know exactly what you're doing at every single moment of the day, and then distill it all down and figure out what you like and don't like and what to sell to you, what not to sell to you, and everything about you. It knows more about you than you know about yourself. So it is a major problem, and I'm going to get into some of those problems today. Now, I put together a series called Life After Microsoft Windows, Cutting the Cord. Now, that series, matter of fact, I'll put a link over here. Check it out, not yet, but by the end of this video, go and check that out. A whole bunch of helpful how-tos, what to do, what not to do, what distros I'm using or tried, and a lot of my past experience moving from Windows to Linux. And was it hard? Was it not? How did I do it? What do I think about it? And all the rest of it. So once again, take a look at that playlist. There's a lot of good information that I think you would enjoy if you're possibly thinking about moving away from Billy the Kid. Yeah. And his security flawed, nasty, bloated piece of Windows software that so many people are using today. Anyways, let's get into this article. And like I said, I'll give you my commentary. And then finally, I want to hear from you down below. And if you don't want to put anything down there, put an emoji so at least I know that you're actually watching the video. That would be much appreciated. And also, if you enjoy the video, throw it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share it. Share it with your friends, family, colleagues, your community. And if you just want to say thank you for all of my hard work on this channel, there's a little thanks button. Thank you, YouTube, for that button. There's a thanks button. You can click on that, give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, it's perfectly fine. The video is still free, but consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. Microsoft's long-delayed recall feature for Windows 11 finally launched exclusively for Copilot Plus PCs. Unveiled in May of 2024, Recall captures screenshots of users' activity every few seconds. Like I said, creating a searchable timeline to rewind and revisit past tasks. However, its invasive nature has fueled widespread distrust, with privacy concerns dominating discussions. Absolutely. And rightfully so. Despite Microsoft's efforts to address security flaws, the feature remains a lightning rod for criticism. A feature that watches your every move. Recall's promise is to help users retrieve past activities, like documents or websites, using AI index snapshots. Microsoft's David Weston, Vice President of Enterprise and OS Security, insists it's now, quote, the most secure experience in Windows, citing encryption, Windows Hello authentication, and local data storage. Users can pause, filter, or delete snapshots, and the feature is opt-in, forcing setup consent. Yet, skepticism persists. Quote, if you don't trust Microsoft to keep its promises, you might want to disable Recall entirely, PC Magazine warns, noting the risk of sensitive data exposure despite safeguards. AI overreach or innovation. The launch also brings AI-powered enhancements to Windows Search, which uses natural language to find files, web content, and click to do, offering content-aware actions from screenshots. These features, like Recall, are restricted to Copilot Plus PCs, for now. Public reaction is harsh. Quote, Recall sounds like a security nightmare, one commenter declared, while another jabbed, quote, Microsoft plays Big Brother yet again, reflecting fears of overreach into private activities like banking and messaging. A troubled road to release. Recall's path to launch was fraught with missteps. Initially planned for June 2024, it faced backlash after security researchers exposed flaws, including plain text data storage. That's a problem. Microsoft delayed the rollout, made it opt-in, and added protection, but critics remain unconvinced. Quote, the fact that Recall is exclusive to Copilot Plus PCs feels like a forced upsell. Interesting thought, highlighting Microsoft's push for premium hardware. The feature's inability to be fully uninstalled, only disabled, further erode users' trust. Well, let me put a caveat in there because that was the case during beta. As of now, they did put the possibility to fully uninstall it right out of Copilot Plus. So as of today, you can fully uninstall it, but I'll get into that in just a second also. Linux, the privacy-safe escape. For those worried about Recall's implications, Linux offers a compelling alternative. Distributions like Ubuntu or Fedora and Arch Linux emphasize user control free of invasion of privacy and tracking. Quote, switching to Linux means no creepy AI watching your every move, a commenter emphasized, underscoring the open source ecosystem appeal. As Microsoft leans into AI, Recall only highlights the growing divide with privacy-conscious users, many of whom are turning to Linux for freedom and transparency. Absolutely the case. So, for me, I think this is really, really important information. Knowing that Recall is now finally rolling out. Once again, they tried rolling this out back in mid or so of 2024. It didn't work because of all of the privacy concerns. And so many people tested this thing and found that it really doesn't work as expected. All right. Now, there was a couple of things I found interesting that David Watson, the VP guy over there at Microsoft, stated. One of them was that you need biometrics to be able to get this thing to function or to set it up at the beginning. And I think that's impressive. I think that's important. I think that is something that needs to be done. The other thing is that it is proactively blurring information as it's going and making these snapshots of your screen every 2 seconds. So if it sees a social security number or if it sees some type of banking information, it will blur that. So it will not be captured. It will not be stored. The problem is there's been a lot of people that test this thing and found that, yes, that works. Like if you're entering in, for example, a credit card number into a website, it will blur it because it understands that. But if you're typing it in a PDF document, let's say, well, it doesn't recognize it and it's not blurred and it is open for anyone to see if they hacked in. That is a major problem. That means that this blur thing doesn't work. The other thing that I think is interesting is Microsoft is saying, listen, users out there, if there's something that we're not blurring, let us know. And we will put that into our AI so it finds it the next time. Well, who are we? We're like beta testers. It's supposed to be out of beta. Don't ask us to do anything. Your crap should just work. And it doesn't, or not fully. Now, the fact that you can actually uninstall it is a positive thing. This wasn't the case back in the beta days. Now that is a full release, you can fully uninstall it. But what does that really mean? How many of you guys have got Windows whatever? I don't care which Windows you're using, 98, right? Windows 10, Windows, whatever you're using, right? And you uninstall something or you remove something, and then after the next major update comes through, you find the thing that you uninstalled right back where you left it. And now you're like left with uninstalling it again. Or maybe you didn't even realize that it installed itself again. And now it's just working in the background. You don't even know about it. How many times has that happened to you? I know it's happened to me many, many times over the years where you uninstall something and it all says reinstalled and you don't want it. Microsoft does this all the time. It does it with its browser, for example. If you get a major release of Windows for many, many years, what does it do? If you're using Firefox or you're using whatever, some other browser instead of Microsoft's, it will automatically start using Microsoft's browser all over again as your default browser. You didn't set it for the default, but all of a sudden it did during this major release. This is the type of stuff, underhanded stuff, that Microsoft does that, in my personal opinion, feels a little bit nefarious. It does it and it shouldn't do it. This is definitely things that class action lawsuits are built upon. Now, with this Copilot Plus deal, you need to have an NPU to be able to use it. So it has to be the right hardware. Not every PC with Windows 11 will be able to install this recall on it. That being said, that is as of today. How about tomorrow or the next day? I don't feel that Microsoft, like they were stating here, is trying to push hardware. They're trying to push software. For now, they're needing the hardware because this takes a lot of processing power to be able to implement this recall nonsense. Well, maybe down the road by Windows 11.5 or whatever, it's now lighter in weight and it can do it now more easily. And now all of a sudden it starts getting rolled out with every update of Windows 11.5. And now you do not need a specific piece of hardware or machine that has an NPU or anything else on it, and you will just simply get it. And that is it. This is the things that I see for the future when it comes to Windows. AI is really great when it's not being used for any type of evil. Let's say it. Anything nefarious. And the thing is you don't know if that's happening behind the scenes. I don't want someone spying on me all the damn time. Not that I'm doing anything that is problematic, let's say, but if, let's say, for example, the government was watching me for any reason and I have this recall on my computer, they can very easily, with a court order, tell Microsoft, we want access to all of this encrypted, localized data of every single thing that I've done every 2 seconds on the machine. Snapshots, every single 2 seconds. You basically get everything. You get passwords, Social Security, you get every single credit card, you get every website that I went to, every image that I watched, every video, you get everything. How is that safe? That is a major, major problem. And the idea of it blurring sensitive data that doesn't really work, as we've seen, many people have tested this out, and even Microsoft themselves say, listen, tell us about what doesn't blur out properly so we can fix it. It's like, no, you can fix it yourself. Why should I have to do that? So for me, the answer was Linux. And that's why, like I said, Windows is sitting here and has never been installed in the computer for the last 9 months or so. And everything that I do, from photo editing, video editing, everything, 3D CAD, doesn't matter what it is, everything is done on Linux. Gaming, doesn't really matter. Everything is done on Linux, and I don't even know that I'm using Linux. It just feels like a computer that just simply works. And when I turn it on, guys, it literally is ready for me to use within 10 to 15 seconds. No more than that. That's how fast it boots, and I'm ready to work. Now, I've tried a lot of different distributions. I made a list here, Fedora 40, Nabara 40, CachyOS. CachyOS was just not for me. MX Linux, Pop OS, Zorin OS, what else? Pika OS, a whole bunch. I made a whole entire list here. Like I told you before, go check out that Life After Microsoft Windows Cutting the Cord series, that playlist. When you're done watching this, you'll be able to see where I take a look at each individual distro. Now, out of all of them, I ended up going with Mint. So Linux Mint 22.1 is what I'm currently using, and it just simply works. Like I said, I don't even know that I'm using an OS. That's the whole idea when it comes to an operating system. You want it to be able to just get out of your way so you can actually work. Just don't tell me about this new virus. Don't tell me about this new update every 5 seconds. Don't sit there and just harp on one thing and the next thing, things that you want me to buy or update or upgrade or whatever. I don't want to hear none of it. I want to just be able to work. And that is the beauty of Linux. It is just something that you don't have to worry about the risk of AI if you don't want to install it because it's not there. It's completely up to you. If you want to install it, you can. You don't have to worry about any type of software removal because everything can be removed and everything can be installed. It's not like Windows where it's next to impossible to install a lot of things. They say that you can now uninstall this recall, but like I said, how long will that actually be valid or viable? When a new major OS update, let's say, comes out, does it automatically install all over again? Who knows? It might. Or maybe what it'll do is it'll nag the shit out of you to install it. How many times do you see Windows do that? Over and over, update, upgrade, over and over and over, right? The nagware. Spyware is what I call it, bloatware I call it, but it's also nagware. That's constantly nagging you. Linux is basically hassle-free and it has a built-in privacy like no other, all right? Down to the kernel level. It is made to be private. It's made to be more secure. That's just simply it. So I don't know what's going to end up happening in the future, but I know as of right now, if you're using Windows and you are, for example, using Windows 10 and Windows 10 is end of life, by the end of this year, there's no more updates. That means no security patches, no virus protection, no nothing added. It is dead, end of life. That is Windows 10 because they want you to move to this nonsense Windows 11, all right? So I would suggest you move into Mac or possibly Linux, like I'm stating here now, so that you can get used to it. So then when Windows finally dies, quote unquote, when it's end of life and it's no longer being updated, you could just move straight into your Linux. You don't have to worry about it. My suggestion also is to use one of these. Install Linux on one of these pen drives, one of these USB sticks. Install it here, put it into your computer, boot off this and test it out. Test out 7, like I did, or 8 different distributions. They're all a little bit different. Some of them look like Windows, if you just love Windows. Some of them look like a Mac. That's what the GUI or the graphical user interface looks like. Whatever floats your boat, let's say. Use that. It doesn't make a difference, but use this first. See which one you like before you make the installation. And when you do install Linux, take your Windows out like I did, stick in a new NVMe or SSD or whatever you're going to install it on and install it there. So you don't accidentally delete your Windows in case you just absolutely hate Linux and you want to go back to Windows crawling to Billy the Kid with their Microsoft bloatware. Anyways, so it's up to you how you do it, but my suggestion is always to install it on one of these sticks first so you know if you like it. Make sure your applications work, and more importantly, make sure that all of your hardware works. Some distributions work better with some or certain hardware, and that you will figure out over time as you try the different distributions. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe it gave you some food for thought. If you did, throw the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not, share, like, do all those things. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all of my merch, my shirts, my tees, my books, and everything else. Pick something up. Help support me and my family. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, and most importantly, stay Windows free. We'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.